makers and their staff and other groups that influence education policy, we really are the voice of students at the Capitol. Instead of having consultants provide these entities with information, we provide real first-hand accounts of how policy is being implemented at a local level. Without this money, this valuable insight may be lost. As you'll see in these upcoming proposals, the students have a valuable voice. As the largest stakeholders in California's education system, students need to have their voice heard, both locally, at school sites, and at the state. And our organization provides students with that opportunity. We need your support as well, and we can't push this off any further, as our organization's survival is at risk. Thank you so much for your time, and I'd now like to open up the floor to any questions you may have.
Thank you. Presentation, very well done. And I think you raise a great point that the Youth in Government program is already receiving $150,000 annually, and your organization seems like it should receive some help as well. And what that ultimate dollar figure looks like, I think, can be a point of discussion. But I can engage with the superintendent's office as well on this topic, and I'm sure the vice chair would as well. And we'll continue the conversation.
Great. Thank you so much. I'd now like to introduce the next group.
Good afternoon, Assembly members. My name is Bridget Lee, and I am a junior at West Ranch High School in Los Angeles County.
My name is Pratik Rao. I am a junior at Monte Vista High School in Santa Clara County.
My name is Josh Dogos, and I am a junior at Excelsior High School in San Bernardino County.
From the 2012-2013 school year to the 2014-2015 school year, students in the state of California went from 95.8% proficiency in language arts and math skills to below 50% proficiency in both categories. In 2009, the National Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium, or SBAC, was formed to create a new computerized test of Common Core standards. These standards were meant to test modern thinking skills such as critical thinking, persuasive writing, and technological literacy. This test would not only gauge students' mastery of the new standards, but also adapt to their capabilities rather than testing along what seemed to be a fairly low baseline.
56% of students in the class of 2016 did not meet standards for English language arts, and 67% did not meet standards for mathematics. Delegates at the Student Advisory Board on Legislation and Education identified several root causes for the subpar performance based on their collective observations. The root cause that we have pinpointed is the lack of incentives to perform well on the SBAC test. Students, even in high-achieving districts, feel that it's unnecessary to take the SBAC. We delegates asked the State Superintendent Tom Torlakson convene an advisory panel in order to incentivize the SBAC and individual results in a way that brings the test to relevance for students.
So I attend Monte Vista High School, and we're ranked 16th in the state. But until this conference, I had no idea that the SBAC even existed. Coming from a high-performing educational environment, students at my school place a high priority on SAT, ACT, and advanced placement tests because they see they are important to the admissions process for public and private universities. On my birthday, I went to an AP US History Study session, followed by an SAT class, and then right to bed. I would have never done that for the SBAC test because I had no idea it existed. The SBAC is just not relevant, at least not to the extent that the College Board tests are. One potential solution is to formulate a recognition system similar to national merit to identify and validate all students who score well each year. Students at my school will do anything to look good on a college application, and a nationally recognized test would be significantly more attractive for high-achieving students.
I attend the North Victorville campus of Excelsior Charter High School, where the SBAC is overlooked for different reasons. Our school's socioeconomic makeup is significantly different from that of Monte Vista's, with 47% of students categorized as economically disadvantaged. Students are more focused on finding jobs and simply getting by with minimal knowledge of their curriculum. Thus, an incentive to reduce the financial burden of students would highly motivate our lower income demographic. For example, A high SBAC score could correspond to reduced application fee waivers for CSUs, UCs, or community colleges. Implementation of these fee waivers would highly benefit the low-income students that attend Excelsior by motivating and encouraging them to further their education.
Our solutions are designed to make impactful change for students of all demographics. Creating an incentive and increasing student investment in the SBAC will thereby increase their interest in Common Core. We want change in our districts. If students are invested in Common Core and dedicated to learning it, then improvements in their curriculum will be made more quickly and efficiently. Currently, students have the option of using their SBAC scores as a placement test in CSU and community colleges. However, this incentive does not convince students from all backgrounds to take the test seriously. At South Pasadena Senior High and Albany High School, higher achieving schools, students opted out of this test because their districts had planned for SBAC just 2 weeks before advanced placement exams. These exams, which provide college and university credit for higher level courses, are much more attractive to students than the SBAC. Thus, their focus shifts away from the Common Core and towards the AP test curriculum.
So we understand that the SBAC has only been administered for 1 year so far, and we do recognize that it may be too early to collect and analyze data from the SBAC. However, if this trend of low performance and student disinterest continues, the state will collect an inaccurate measurement of the students' comprehension of Common Core standards. The incentives suggested in this proposal seek to encourage students to take the SBAC with their best effort, which will improve the state's performance in all areas. Previous efforts have been made to incentivize the exam already. In 2013, the proposed bill AB 959 recommended that the state superintendent work alongside CSU trustees and UC regents to create some sort of incentive system for the SBAC. However, this bill was not observed closely and thus died in committee. Our delegation seeks to recognize students for their achievements in tangible and relevant ways. Consequently, curriculum will be changed to adhere more strictly to changes in legislation regarding Common Core, improving the overall SBAC scores statewide.
Overall, we are asking the Assembly to create a panel that will research and establish an incentive program regarding the SBAC. We have provided 2 sample incentives, a recognition system and UC and CSU fee waivers, along with other rationale behind them. Even if the Assembly does not implement our incentives, we urge that it recognizes the need for incentivizing the tests and pursues change in that matter. Thank you, and we now yield our time for questions.
Thank you, and thank you for your ask. And it's a question that I've pondered many times. How do we incentivize students to do well on tests, right? And again, the SBAC, as has been mentioned, this last year was the first year, and it's a big change in our educational system, probably the biggest one in the last 20 years, because we're going to teaching skills from content. We used to teach content, now we focus more on skills, which is a good thing. It's going to take us some time to get there, to kind of reboot our California educational system to get there. Teachers are working hard, students are working hard. I have my own 2 children that bring, my 5th grade daughter brings home Common Core math, and I just scratch my head sometimes at that, to be quite honest with you. But again, I think how do we incentivize this is a good question. It is one that has been pondered before. Should we, somehow use the SBAC instead of the CASE, right, the California High School Exit Exam? Mm-hmm. Should we, swap them out, even though the high school exit exam's on hold right now? Should we use the SAT instead of the SBAC? That's been a question that's been pondered up here as well. So just know that your question is very relevant. It is one I have studied myself, not one I have solutions on at this point, but again, a very relevant question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing no further comments, thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And our next topic is Common Core state standards.
Good afternoon, Chairman O'Donnell, Vice Chair Olson, and